Yeah, we're stuck in the middle of Masai Mara. As you see, they're going to try to pull us out over there, and hopefully it works, because otherwise, we saw a lion up there, and we're not getting out the car. So let's pray that this works.
What was the major highlight of your trip to Kenya?
The major highlight was definitely Masai Mara, which was the safari. We went during peak season, so the Great Migration was happening. So we saw like thousands and thousands of animals.
How is fashion in Kenya?
Honestly, because of the globalization, it's the same. Of course, New York, everybody has on Jordans and, all of that, the high fashion stuff. When I was there 20 years ago, I can say that it was a lot different. It wasn't as developed, but there are buildings going up everywhere. In terms of fashion, when we went further out and we saw the Maasai, they have a distinct way of dressing, the ones that are still in the village and stuff like that. But the Maasai that were working at Masai Mara looked like everyone else, and I mean, just a quick story, when we were at Masai Mara, the villas were actually inside Masai Mara. They had a compound within. At night, when we went back to our villa, they had Maasai escort us. My husband said, why do you have to escort us? I was like, oh, the hyenas. It was a very, very interesting and fun trip.
In Ghana, they wear modern silhouettes, but they're using traditional African prints. Did you find that a lot in Kenya?
In Nairobi, it was strictly like if you're walking in the street in New York. On the outskirts, you saw more of the development happening, but honestly, there was not a lot of like African print. A lot of that is coming from West Africa, because even I wanted to go shopping for fabric, and you look at the label, most of it came from West Africa. It wasn't native to East Africa. So the biggest thing over there were the blankets from the Maasai, and a lot of that was like the plaids, the reds, and stuff like that. And that was wool, because it gets really cold at night, and we went over there during the rainy season, so it was like what, 70, 65 degrees.
Like, how was the food? Did you eat any traditional foods? Were you adventurous?
I'm very conservative when it comes to food. Coffee is amazing. Okay, I did bring back some for Naima. I haven't sent it out to you yet. We were blessed to have a personal chef. So we had a chef. I'm telling you, the food was amazing. It was great. Yeah, it was nice. When we were in Nairobi, we had a chef. When we were in Masai Mara, it's all inclusive. So they have food so you can, choose from, which is also very good. And when we were in Mombasa, we had a personal chef. We had native food. There was a lot of like the samosa, which is good. They make the rice and the chicken. It was, I can't even remember everything, but every meal that I had was delicious, and the food is so fresh.
In America, we tend to put meat in everything. So there's meat in the beans, there's meat in the greens. They don't use a lot of meat, right?
They do eat a lot of meat. They do, because they are not close to the coast. In Mombasa, there's more seafood, but actually in Nairobi and Mombasa, they eat more meat because that's more readily available. They do a lot of farming, of herding and stuff like that. That's a big part of their diet. Most of it's based around like the beef, the lamb, and the chicken.
Now, were the chickens skinny? Because the chickens in Ghana are very thin.
Yes. And we were speaking to the chef about that. And we were like, compared to the United States, the chickens here are huge. And that's because of what they feed them. But in there, they can't sell chickens above a certain weight. Like, people don't buy it. They don't buy it because it's not healthy. No, it's not natural. So the chicken sizes are normal size compared to what we do. It's like half the size.
Right. It's what chickens are supposed to look like.
Exactly. When we were growing up, chickens were a lot smaller.
They were normal sized chicken, not pumped with steroids. The other highlights that you want us to know?
When I was in Nairobi, we went to like a bee factory, but it was basically started so that like single mothers or women with some type of difficulty had a place to work. All of the bees were handmade. That was a really good highlight because you saw the artisanship, the show and the entrepreneurship and just the creativity of it. And they sell their beads all over the world. Kazuri, I think that's how you pronounce it, Kazuri beads. Of course, that was in Nairobi. And Masai Mara, of course, was the safari. We got like, I would say maybe 5 feet from lions. And the only time we actually had to be quiet was when we came up on a leopard because they can jump on the truck. It's so rare to be able to see a leopard, and we were blessed to be able to see one. We saw a cheetah, which was also very rare. See, we saw the big five except for the rhino. So we didn't get a chance to see that. But everything else, it's amazing. So the last place we went was Mombasa, which is on the coast. And I did get my feet into the Indian Ocean. I didn't go in because the water's kind of rough.
If you had to go back to choose, which place would you go back to?
Okay, I would go every place for a different reason. So it's like I would go back to everything. So Mombasa, I would definitely go back because it's chill. It's more like resort town. We didn't spend enough time in Mombasa, but we were right by the beach. We saw the beach from our room. It was just like chill. Safari because it's safari. Nairobi, I would go back because of the speed of development there. And if you were to pick a place to, go and do business, I would go back to Nairobi.
Did you buy any fabric?
I did. And that's when I discovered most of the fabric that they had was from West Africa. And the prices were ridiculous. When I went there, I saw something that was like a nice wax print. It was beautiful. They said $431 for 6 yards. I was like, listen, I live in New York and I can go to 116th Street and get 6 yards for $20. And that's on a high end. But I got this at the Maasai Market. I am having patterns coming up with the Cover Me Chic brand. So we've been working on that. So I'll be making something with that.
What about factories being used more? Nairobi, since you said that's where the business was.
I did not see any factories. I'm sure that they have it, but they really don't have an industry, which is, I think, part of the problem. I mean, coffee is a big industry, of course, because the coffee is, like I said, is delicious. Yeah, that's the biggest export, but they have so much more potential. That's why I will go back in terms of like a business opportunity, because there's a lot of opportunities for new industries to be developed.
That's all for now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Letitia Winston of Keeping You in Stitches, along with Naima Dozier of Fearless Threads, and Zahia, welcome back, from Region Design Lab and Cover Me Chic. See you next time.